Hi, my name is Matt Christie, and I am the 2020 AIA Grand Rapids President. On behalf of the AIA Grand Rapids Board of Directors, we would like to welcome you to our 2020 AIA Grand Rapids Virtual Honor Awards celebration. It is an honor to congratulate all of our member architects and their respective firms for their extraordinary work in West Michigan and all of this year's award winners for their hard work and exemplary contribution to the profession. To the clients and construction partners we have teamed with, thank you for giving us the opportunity to creatively practice our discipline, bringing concept to reality. As the 2020 president of the American Institute of Architects Grand Rapids chapter, I am proud to work among those who continue to transform Grand Rapids, West Michigan, and beyond. The future is bright with your continued dedication. The AIA Grand Rapids Board of Directors would like to thank and recognize our sponsors for their continued partnership with AIA Grand Rapids. 2020 has been a challenging year for all, and your support of this organization and its members is greatly appreciated. Through this partnership, we are able to provide a unified voice for the architectural profession and a resource for our members. Additionally, we continue to strengthen our connection to the communities we serve. The AIA Grand Rapids Board of Directors reaffirms our commitment to the efforts that ensure our profession is part of the solution that finally dismantles systemic racial injustice and violence. I ask this community of creative thinkers to join us and hold us accountable in the coming years to ensure that our deeds match our words. To that end, the focus of our action should be to first acknowledge, listen, and learn. As we look forward to 2021 and hopefully a new normal of social connectedness, we anticipate many opportunities for you to get involved. We need each of you to invest yourselves in AIA Grand Rapids to make it a place for community inspiration. We are proud of the continued advancement in our primary areas of focus: membership engagement through open forums before each board meeting and a newly formed social planning committee, advocacy through civic engagement and public awareness on the value of architects with our keynote lecture series, sustainability through the excellent work provided by AIA Grand Rapids Committee on the Environment, continued education through monthly educational offerings that now have a broader reach with virtual learning, strengthening our emerging professionals through scholarship opportunities and the ARE study program, and industry partnerships through the continued collaboration with design, education, and building organizations such as MAF, KCAD, AIAS, Builders Exchange of Michigan, and the ACE Mentorship Program of West Michigan, which saw its first completed year earlier this spring. A big thank you goes out to all the volunteers who made the ACE program such a success in its inaugural year. It is a privilege to practice architecture. Being able to see our imaginations become reality is something most people never experience. We gather inspiration from the past while envisioning what a brighter future will bring. Our communities rely on us to creatively problem solve a multitude of challenges. It is our responsibility to take advantage of this opportunity. Do not play it safe. Dare to challenge the status quo. Always move to be better. This is how we will truly see change within our communities, their experiences, and the quality of life that we are all able to enjoy. With our mission of supporting and advancing our profession, our annual Honor Awards celebration serves to bring together all who are part of the West Michigan architecture and construction community. The AIA Grand Rapids chapter continues to recognize excellence in architecture throughout the region, with an emphasis on promoting the value of good design and encouraging our members to pursue excellence through their work and service to the community. Together, well apart, we celebrate our collective accomplishments and acknowledge the exemplary work of this past year's award recipients. Congratulations to all.
Welcome to the 2020 AIA Grand Rapids Honor Awards, an unprecedented event in keeping with so much of this unprecedented year. Thank you to the committee for your hard work and leadership in pivoting to this format, and thank you for taking the time to attend. I'm Megan Feenstra-Wall, Vice President and President-elect of AIA Grand Rapids. Perhaps along with learning the intricacies of aerosolized particles and which face covering provides the least eyeglass fog, this is a year you finally internalized the makeup of our profession. Blacks make up about 13% of the American population. They are about 2% of architects. Hispanics and Latinos are about 15% of our country, but less than 1% of our profession. Women, over half of our population, are about 20% of licensed architects, and far fewer are in leadership roles. It is increasingly difficult to argue our relevancy, that we can fundamentally understand our clients and their environments or their needs when we are, as a profession, so homogenous. And honestly, for those just beginning their careers or considering possible careers, it's just hard to be something that you can't see. Our profession is at a crossroads. Do we choose to inspire, equip, and amplify new voices to celebrate and reflect a vibrant and dynamic society? Or do we choose a fading status quo, relegating ourselves to a niche status increasingly removed from the people we serve? Maybe this is the year you learned, like me, the term derecho for the intense storm that flattened Iowa and other nearby states. Maybe you had friends and family in the Northwest sending you photos of red skies along with their AQI, or air quality index, during the wildfires. Maybe this is the year you're thinking about resiliency in your projects for the first time or in a new way. Last fall, the AIA adopted a new climate action plan, claiming that our clients are not just the owners, developers, and city officials who give us input and pay our bills, but the 1.5 million people who live in West Michigan, and more so, the over 1 billion people who call our planet home and who are affected by the decisions that you and I make. A recent AIA survey shows that a majority of architects feel climate change is a big deal. At the same time, a majority of them felt they couldn't do much about it, but nearly 40% of carbon emissions are from buildings. We design buildings. Your projects, my projects, no matter how big or how small, contribute. It can be easy to claim that the decisions are not ultimately ours. However, I propose that by doing so, we become complicit in turning our backs on the environment and our fellow humans, and not standing for what we say we believe in. Good design has to go beyond how a project looks and functions. It should be inclusive and integrated and sustainable. West Michigan used to be a leader in sustainability. It is time to be that again. If you submitted an award entry, you thought about your project through the lens of the AIA's Framework for Design Excellence, the former COAT Top 10. I'm thrilled the awards committee made the decision to bring that into the awards requirements. Thank you. I had the opportunity to serve on the AIA National Task Force to rewrite the Framework for Design Excellence this winter with a group from across the country. If you haven't looked over that document, well, there's a place to start. The framework defines design excellence in 10 measures and provides questions to ask at the very beginning of a project and throughout a project of any size. I challenge you and your teams to use it on one project and see how it changes the discussion from number of students per classroom or square foot per employee to deeper thoughts on inclusion, or the long-term savings of an efficient envelope, or a value system based on wellness. As we watch our fragile economic recovery allow for some of us to rise and some of us, especially women and people of color, to fall, let's think about who our projects and our profession might be forgetting. This is a divisive year. Please be kind, be generous, be considerate, support one another, especially those who may look different from you, because diversity of thought will revolutionize our industry. And please, please go vote. Today, let's celebrate these beautiful projects and these amazing people in this incredible year as we learn how the projects and people we're hearing from went beyond the minimum and started to imagine an equitable, resilient, and healthy built environment.
Welcome to the Honor Awards celebration. I am Matt Christie with Ghaffari Associates, and I am the AIA Grand Rapids Chapter President. Our broadcast would not be a celebration unless we hear from you too. We want to see your watch party picks, best cocktail napkin sketches and comments. Be sure to tag us and use hashtag #BlueprintForBetter on social media. We invite you to relax with your favorite cocktail and join us in a toast to honor this year's AIA Grand Rapids Honor Award winners. Cheers. We begin our broadcast by thanking our corporate chapter sponsors. We extend special thanks to our event sponsors, our live broadcast sponsor, the Michigan Architectural Foundation, our digital program sponsor, Belden Brick and Supply Company, our producer sponsor, Fishbeck, and our director sponsor, Integrated Architecture. We appreciate your continued support during this financially uncertain time. Thank you all for your continued partnership with AIA Grand Rapids. Thank you to our members, those that submitted projects for an honor award, and to our board of directors. We appreciate your effort and support of our chapter. Each year, AIA Grand Rapids chooses a student to receive a scholarship to assist with their architectural education. This year, our board selected Nicholas Schmidt. Nicholas currently attends LTU's Masters of Architecture program. Nicholas has received a $1,000 scholarship from our chapter, as well as a scholarship from the AIA National Component Matching Scholarship Grant Program. Congratulations, Nick. For more than a century, the AIA has provided a Medal of Excellence to the top graduating students. The award is named in honor of Henry Adams, a historian, author, and scholar who donated his book, Mount St. Michael and Schultz, and eventually the royalties from his book to the AIA. The newly accredited NAAB Masters of Architecture degree program at Kendall College of Art and Design of Ferris State University has awarded their first AIA Henry Adams Medal to Andrew Dancer in recognition of his extraordinary academic achievement. Drew was a very active member of KCAD's AIS chapter and is now working at Progressive AE. Congratulations, Drew. We have a tradition of recognizing our local emerging professionals. Congratulations to these recently graduated architecture students. In addition to congratulating these students who recently graduated, we'd like to recognize our newly licensed architects. Tiffany Ackerman, Ann Dornbus, Robert Ferguson, Gregory Hoogland, Katie Potts, Alicia Vanderark, Derek Walcotton. Congratulations on this accomplishment. In 2008, the American Institute of Architects Grand Rapids chapter and the West Michigan community lost a valuable member, David D. Smith. He was an architect who represented community service and leadership while elevating public awareness of architecture and the built environment. The Humanitarian Award was created in his honor. This year, we are pleased to present the Humanitarian Award to Stephen Johnson. As the founder and past president of Oasis of West Michigan, Steve has drawn attention to the lack of housing for adults with developmental disabilities. He's introduced the concept of interdependent living and person-centered planning of hundreds of families in West Michigan with disabled children who never dreamed there would be a place in our community for their child to live, learn, and work. The jury stated, "He's a true humanitarian. The built environment plays a critical role in removing barriers to greater independence for vulnerable citizens." It is my pleasure to award Stephen Johnson the 2020 David D. Smith Humanitarian Award.
My name's Steve Johnson, and I am the past president and one of the founders of Oasis Community of West Michigan, which is an organization founded by families of individuals who have disability. And our goal is to create affordable housing adequately supported for individuals, usually our kids, who are over the age of 26 and eager to move out on their own. Housing was one bridge we all had to cross at some point in time. And we realized that there was nothing acceptable and nothing affordable. There are group homes, and many of them could be the best possible option for an individual with high needs, but many of our sons and daughters weren't people with high needs. They could live on their own if they were adequately supported. So with that in mind, we decided to have a focus on housing. There's roughly 150,000 people living with disability, developmental disabilities in the state of Michigan that are living at home with their family, moms and dads. As we look forward, we don't see this so much as a problem as a great opportunity. So the role of architecture in addressing the needs of this disability community and actually addressing the call for social justice would be that most architecture should be universally accessible. Designing architecture to be more responsive to the needs of intellectually disabled as well as developmentally disabled. Not everybody is in a wheelchair, but there are some people that have some difficulty with an intellectual disability. And I'm not an architect. I can't imagine what some of that might be, but I think creative mind is getting together and come up with some amazing things. A lot of it might be blending the architect with technology that helps people live more normal and full lives. Right now, we do have a project with the Inner City Christian Federation, ICCF. It's called Emerald Flats. It's the old Eastern Elementary School building. We will have a number of apartments there when it comes to fruition. I think is in July of 2021. That'll be our first group of kids. I use the term loosely because most of them are over the age of 30, moving into their own apartment for the first time. We need to do this over and over again. We need to, as an organization, to network with other organizations with the same kind of goals and objectives that we do. We're all just people. Regardless of age, regardless of race, regardless of ability levels, we're all just human beings. And we have the same wants and the same desires in life. A quote that I learned recently from a person called the Rebbe, which is a leader in the Jewish community who passed away several years ago. And he said, "None of us is complete unless all of us are included." And people with disabilities are an asset to our community, and they're being overlooked.
Congratulations, Steve. The Young Architect Award recognizes proficiency and exceptional accomplishments and contributions to the profession and/or community by an architect licensed to practice architecture fewer than 10 years. The jury selected Andrew Queenan as the 2020 Young Architect Award winner. Andrew is a passionate advocate for sustainability within the built environment. He seeks to advance an approach to design that is inclusive and hyper-focused on improving the overall performance of buildings that will help our communities achieve resiliency.
I've been pretty fortunate to have a lot of great mentors that sort of pushed me to follow passions. One of those in particular is sustainable design and how we can design places that are meaningful and impactful, but also healthy for the people that use them every day. The best piece of advice I ever got was from a good mentor of mine, Norm Ream. We were sitting down in a meeting and he was asking me a question if I knew something. And he could tell that I wanted to say yes and then quickly go research the answer. And he stopped me before I could answer and said, "It's okay to say you don't know. You'll learn more through failure than you will through lying. Be intentional about what you plan to do." I think that advice was foundational to a lot of the things I try to do. The thing I love most about architecture and being an architect is just the never-ending search for knowledge and the pursuit of always trying to better myself and my community and the people around me. Being acknowledged with this award is very humbling and rewarding. I would like to specifically thank Norm Ream, Jim Sarks, Heather Judge, Tim Fry, Jay Lingnell, Kevin Jose, Rob Corder, Tom Sturr, Bill Zaski, Ryan Archer, Eric Hackman, Zach Verholst, and most importantly, my wife, Katie. When I think about what it means to be an architect, the responsibility of creating meaningful work within our communities and the responsibility just in terms of creating spaces that make a positive impact in those communities is really profound, and at times can be a heavy burden, but it's a burden that I think all architects are willing to take on. It is a heavy burden, but it does lead to a great legacy that you leave to your community and hopefully the people you love.
Congratulations, Andrew. The Architect of the Year Award is the highest honor the AIA Grand Rapids can bestow upon a member. This award is presented to an architect who has clearly demonstrated distinguished leadership and whose work has had a lasting influence on the theory and practice of architecture over an extended period. Our 2020 Architect of the Year is Matt Slagle. Matt is known for working as a trusted collaborator and mentor on multidisciplinary teams, achieving exceptional results. His drive to explore function, space, material, and environmental quality consistently leads to innovative solutions. It is my honor to award Matthew R. Slagle, AIA, the 2020 Architect of the Year Award.
I started architecture at 8 years old when I was drawing floor plans in crayon, and my grandma told me you should be an architect. I've been in architecture my whole life, and what's kept me in it is it keeps me interested because there's always that next level, that next thing, a different type of architecture to design. Recently, I've been studying student safety, and even with COVID, how do we socially distance and improve learning at the same time? So there's always a new challenge with architecture. Throughout my career, my greatest accomplishments have been anything that makes my grandma proud. She's always been my #1 fan. My advice for emerging professionals is to get involved. Get involved in the AIA, in local boards, in your community, in any way you can. Architecture inspires me because it offers us the opportunity to shape the world around us. I think all of us as architects have the responsibility to make inspiring places for the users to grow and celebrate and accomplish their goals, but also safe places, and that's come up a lot in the last several years, especially in K-12. More recently, my main inspirations have come from community. I do a lot of work in the evenings and with different communities to identify what the needs are for school bonds and then help them get that passed and then see those to fruition and see their goals achieved. One thing that really excites me is seeing a school open and seeing the kids in there for the first day and how excited they are. And I remember this one moment at Northview High School on day one where this young woman said, "I can't believe the community believes this much in me, that they built this for me." I really enjoy K-12 architecture specifically because it leaves a legacy. These buildings are gonna be around for 50 to 100 to plus years because we'll always need schools. And so to be part of that legacy is pretty great. To be named Architect of the Year is a great honor and humbling at the same time, as I know there are a lot of great architects in this audience and in our community. Thank you so much for this amazing award. I'd like to thank the AIA Grand Rapids Board of Directors, the awards jury, Arnie Micon for his nomination, Jen for her unconditional love and support, and Tower Pinkster for all of the amazing opportunities I've had over the years. Thank you.
Congratulations, Matt. Every year, an AIA chapter from another state serves as our honor awards jury in order to provide the most objective perspective when judging the entry submissions. This year's jury is comprised of members from AIA Charleston and was chaired by Ashley Jennings. We had 10 firms and 5 students that submitted 24 entries for judging. We thank AIA Charleston for their time, their effort they put into jurying these entries. I would now like to introduce Jade Heiler, who will kick off our Building and Design Award presentation.
Thank you, Matt. Hi, I'm Jade Heiler with Fishbeck, and I was the 2018 AIA Grand Rapids Scholarship recipient with the Master of Architecture from KCAT. I am honored to present the Student Project Design Award and the Residential Architecture Award. The Student Project Design category is open to a built or unbuilt project designed by a student within the last 5 years, but cannot be affiliated with an architecture firm. This year's winner is a Sunday afternoon designed by Logan Wise of KCAD. Jury comments include, this site is ideal for a landform building that transcends the library typology. A cohesive program interrelates to the waterfront park setting, creating both interior and exterior spaces for community.
The program for the building is a library, and a library is just a super cool cultural hub of all these different people coming together, all different backgrounds and all different walks of life, and just coming together into this very public and very open building. And so how do you create a building for people in a very complicated site? It was a 40-foot drop from street level to the boardwalk level. And so how do you create everybody coming in the front door? Everybody's having the same experience. How are we supposed to come together as a community and come together as a culture if we're not allowed to share our ideas? And how do you share your ideas if you don't have a platform to share your ideas? And the building is based off of a painting by George Seurat, which is what it's named after, A Sunday Afternoon. And this painting is just kind of this romanticized experience of just everybody coming together just and hanging out on a Sunday afternoon on the lakeshore. And it's just a gentle slope from the top of the painting to the bottom of the painting, and it's everybody's just enjoying the same view. And so that's what the building does. It becomes the slope in a very kind of peaceful way. From the street level to the boardwalk level, the whole building kind of falls away into the landscape and really just reveals that historic district. It reveals the buildings and the culture that kind of make it so. So the building is supposed to be kind of a backdrop. It's supposed to be the medium in which people can share their ideas. And so it's supposed to fade away. It's supposed to kind of fall back and let the culture that exists in Manistee kind of come to the forefront.
Congratulations, Logan. The Residential Architecture Award category is open to single-family and two-family type construction. I am pleased to announce the winner is the Hudson Valley Residence designed by Matheson Architects. The construction firm is Lagonia Construction. Jury comments include, the siting of this residence placed lightly on the land in the position of the original house and also accommodates the client-driven need for accessibility. Wide hallways and open spaces underscore principles of universal design. A simple and minimal approach to materials is reinforced with exquisite craftsmanship and attention to detail. The democratic allocation of bedroom size coupled with a separate ground floor suite are planned elements that make this house livable.
Sited at the top of a steep south-facing slope, the existing house was enclosed and dark and did not offer any way for the family to engage with the landscape around the house. The primary challenge of this project was responding in a smart way to the challenging site. Linear shale rock is just under the surface of the entire site, and blasting is very expensive. We minimized the blasting cost by using the existing footprint of the previous house and then rotating the upper main living level rather than rotating the entire building. The family wanted to connect 3 generations together and create a retreat from the city, and this house design focuses on gathering spaces that allow them to do that. Thinking about the AIA's framework for design excellence, we thought a lot about integration. This project connects its design to create a sustainable site as well as to honor its users. We also focused on ecology. We're excited to discover a way to minimize the site impact while enhancing the views. And finally, we focused on wellness. We were able to address wellness by creating meaningful gathering spaces inside the house and outside the house. The home is zero entry, and the client wanted bedrooms that were non-hierarchical, meaning that all guests were respected equally, both young and old. what we heard, especially during this pandemic, is that the time that they've all been able to spend in the house has been the most meaningful time they've ever spent together as a larger generational family. So for us, that kind of feedback is really rewarding, to know that the layout of the house, the indoor and the outdoor spaces all being utilized to take best advantage of the site and the views really gave them peace as a family and a way to connect with each other in a way that they'd never been able to do before.
Congratulations, Matheson Architects. Next, Jenny Wah will present our Interior Architecture Awards.
Thanks, Jade. Hi, everybody. I'm Jenny Wah with Fishbeck. I currently serve as the AIA Grand Rapids Public Relations Director, as well as one of my favorite jobs, co-chair for the Honor Awards Committee that brought you today's event. I'm excited to present the Interior Architecture Awards, which recognize the excellence and diversity of interior projects. Tonight, we have 2 winning projects to celebrate. Van Dyken Mechanical's new headquarters is located in Granville. The architect is Matheson Architects, and the construction firm was Dan Voss Construction Company. Jury comments include, this renovation is transformative. Removing and consolidating redundant spaces opens the plan up, introducing natural light to most spaces. Exposing and celebrating the mechanical system resonates with the occupants of the building. There is a practical, yet beautiful, simplicity in the material palette.
The project Van Dyken Mechanical is a 70-year-old mechanical contractor in the area that's very well known and has an amazing reputation. And they found themselves, as they grew, having a lack of organization in the space. They felt like it was a confusing flow and a confusing experience for their guests coming in. So our concepts really revolved around a few main things. We wanted to reorganize the groups to really showcase the 3 different brands that are represented within Van Dyken Mechanical and make that organization more effective for both the client coming in and also the employees. We also really wanted to focus on bringing in natural light into the space. There were a lot of dark corners, and really the primary goal of the project was to have every single employee have access to natural light during the day. And I think we were able to achieve that, which is pretty amazing in an existing space. We also really wanted to highlight what Van Dyken Mechanical does. So we made sure that the concept really revolved around taking some more of those industrial materials and showcasing them in a way that could highlight those mechanical systems that actually are quite beautiful and could stand on their own to make it really the focal point of the space. When I think about what AIA's frameworks for design excellence really means, I think we were able to bring quite a few elements to the space throughout the design. I think well-being for the users, they were in a 70-year-old building and they really existed in their own individual space throughout the day, and we were able to take that and make it a much more collaborative experience. When you come in as a guest now, you can figure out which way you're going. You can kind of have a natural flow to the space. And I think maybe what I'm most proud of is that the client trusted us immensely. We trusted them. They are in the industry also. And I think as an office, we promote that every single aspect of design is just as important as the last. And I think this really showed in that project. And I think that the users are able to benefit from that. So I'm just really proud we have such a great relationship with the client, with the contractor. I think we're going to be able to carry that relationship for many years to come. And I think that trust they had in us and the trust we had in them really shows.
Congratulations, Matheson Architects. Steelcase Ampersand has also been awarded an Interior Architecture Award. Progressive AE served as the architect and Chrisman was the construction company. Jury comments include, this is a creative approach to a mobile-oriented office environment and provides a flexible space with a unique organizational program. In many areas, private and public spaces are clearly defined without the traditional physical separation.
So this project aims at kind of answering two simple questions with nuanced answers. The first is, how do you take a group of technology professionals who are traditionally an internally focused group, but then encourage them to be forward-facing, to be leaders within their area of expertise, and to organize themselves that will enhance their own internal processes and their product delivery model. The second question is, because we're dealing with Agile, what does it mean when you're not tethered to your desk with a computer cable or a telephone cord? I think for us, what it meant is that you could essentially treat the entire office space as your work environment. All of your needs don't need to be met at your individual, 6 foot by 6 foot work desk. If the hardworking Agile squads only took up about half of the project area, the other half becomes peripheral amenities that really enhance the work environment and create a habitat for high-performing work. So I think the main successes of the project is that this has been a long process of finding a solution that would work for a group of people that wanted to change the way that they wanted to work within a global organization. And so it's actually space, it's architecture that allows that group to reinforce their own internal processes and their own way of thinking, so that architecture and business strategy go hand in hand. It was most closely designing for well-being. We took a lot of aspects of the typical workday that aren't normally thought about, right? What does it mean if you design for mental health as well as productivity? What I'm most happy about this project is actually what you don't see. We worked really hard with our client to come up with over 100 different solutions to different aspects of the project. And it was that intensive work model that I think allowed us to get to the right solution, which is actually the only one that you get to see at the end of the day. But it was all the work that came before that that allowed us to get to where we ended up.
Congratulations, Progressive AE. I now have the pleasure to introduce Matt Van Sweden, who will present our Sustainability Design Award.
Thank you so much, Jenny. It's such a joy to be with you all this afternoon. My name is Matthew Van Sweden with Catalyst Partners, and I currently serve as the AIA Grand Rapids Committee on the Environment co-chair. It is an honor and pleasure for me to present to you all this year's Sustainability Design Award. Last year was a transformative year for the architectural profession. At the AIA National Convention, the AIA adopted the Resolution for Urgent and Sustained Climate Action, embarking the profession on a holistic journey to address climate change. Shortly thereafter, the AIA Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct was updated to include recommendations for addressing environmental equity and racial injustices. As a result, the architect's duty to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public now has a much broader meaning. So what does urgent and sustained climate action look like? And how does the profession address environmental equity and racial injustices? Well, the AIA created the framework for design excellence in part to answer these questions while also extending an urgent call to action. This framework encourages architects to be better professionals by reflecting on the 10 guiding principles that point toward the zero carbon, equitable, resilient, and healthy built environment. Additionally, on October 16th of this year, AIA National launched the Blueprint for Better campaign. Buildings contribute to 40% of the world's carbon emissions, and architects are uniquely positioned to have a direct impact on this. The Blueprint for Better campaign asks AIA members, design professionals, civic leaders, and the public to help transform the practice of architecture to achieve a zero carbon, resilient, healthy, just, and equitable future. Please take a look at this short video.
The climate crisis is the issue that we have to deal with now. 40% of the emissions come from buildings. So that is an opportunity for us to really move forward. It's important for the AIA because we are the largest design organization in the world tackling the biggest design problem right now. I really think about Rebecca Solnick's words, don't ask what will happen, be what happens. And that's what I'm encouraging all of our members to be what happens in moving forward.
I just love that quote so much. Don't ask what will happen, be what happens. To that end, I encourage you all to visit blueprintforbetter.org to sign up for updates, review the resources, and explore ideas that will help your practice be what happens. In addition, I also encourage all local firms to sign up for the 2030 commitment, which seeks to transform the practice of architecture in a way that is holistic, firm-wide, project-based, and data-driven. Together, we can be real agents of change and cultivate the conditions for a just, prosperous, and regenerative future for all. Together, we can be what happens. If you have any questions about where to get started, please reach out to me or any member of the AIA Grand Rapids Committee on the Environment. As Megan previously shared with us, new to the Honors Award program this year, member architects were asked and encouraged to think about their project submissions through the lens of the AIA Framework for Design Excellence. All eligible to be considered for the Sustainability Design Award. Projects awarded in this category exemplify the integration of design excellence with sustainable performance. And the jury then uses the Framework for Design Excellence as a standard against which to evaluate each submission. I am pleased to announce the 2020 Sustainability Design Award goes to the Jack and Mary DeWitt Center for Science and Technology at Cornerstone University. The architect is Progressive AE, and Crispin was the construction firm. Jury comments include the programmatic coupling of science and faith has been well illustrated and referenced in materiality. And the project is an excellent example of many aspects of sustainability, including use of local materials, response to context, and management of resources.
By using an inclusive human design approach, we feel like we've touched on almost every category of the AIA framework of design. From equitable design, where you have a thoughtful entry experience, to an active learning environment that promotes the well-being of students both physically and mentally. By using resources that showcase their scientific properties, as well as creating a building that engages the environment and its site around it. Our main conceptual idea for this building was to investigate and model the university's faith-based approach to science and community. Some of the challenges that we encountered on this project was really, how do you capture the essence of how science and faith tie together? Faith can be expressed in many ways. We express faith in this building through daylighting, color derived from nature. We used colored glass and its reflection. We also use natural materials where the hand meets the building. Some of the successes on this project are that the design demonstrates learning in various forms. It celebrates interaction between students and faculty and has captured science through nature, materiality, and light. It promotes the well-being of its users on campus and also provides a sense of place for the students. We really brainstormed all of the possibilities that this building could offer the students. Being in a multidiscipline environment and doing that is something really special because you all bring something different to the table. And so I think from that, a lot of the ideas about sustainability were successful and implemented and carried through on this project.
Please join me in congratulating the entire Progressive AE team. Job well done. Next, John Reiser will present our building awards.
Thank you, Matt. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Reiser, and I'm an architect with Progressive AE. I currently serve as the AIA Grand Rapids Membership Services Director, and it is my distinct pleasure to present this year's Building Awards. The Building Award category is open to a single or related group of buildings, including new construction and renovations. The jury has selected 2 winners in this year's Building Award category. Our first winner is the ADAC Automotive Headquarters here in Grand Rapids, which was designed by Integrated Architecture and built by Rockford Construction. Jury comments include: the image that tells the story of this well-cited project is the building section. The building truly responds to its context. The rear glass facade enables every occupant to connect with nature. And finally, distinct spaces are well connected, revealing the employee-oriented structure of the company.
In this particular project, we were dealing with an organization that was not united physically. So they had a very strong culture, but that culture really lacked certain things that we felt would be significantly enhanced if they were together. So the centerpiece of this particular project was what we called a work cafe, and we worked very closely with the Steelcase organization to understand how those kinds of spaces worked and how those kinds of spaces really promoted and encouraged and fostered collaboration. So that centerpiece was a big deal as we kind of laid out the building shape. And that particular piece was something that they didn't have before. It kind of became call it the glue in the building that really kind of united everyone. As we look at the AIA's framework for design excellence, you can see a lot of elements of our project that align very well with that framework, and especially design for well-being, where well-being of the organization, obviously by bringing them together, well-being of the individual. The building itself is a underfloor air building, which is proven to be healthier for the inhabitants. Well-being for the environment. Their carbon footprint was reduced significantly by going from 4 different buildings of different vintages into one building that was state-of-the-art, highly efficient. And then, design for change, the building being a programmable platform with the underfloor capability. The building now goes from being a static obstacle to a tool and a weapon, in a sense that they will be able to affect change as they kind of go through their future. So I guess from a personal perspective, that was very enjoyable and rewarding.
Congratulations to Integrated Architecture. Our second winner tonight is the Eddy, owned by the Whirlpool Corporation and Third Coast Development. The Eddy was designed by Integrated Architecture and built by Pioneer Construction. Jury comments include: this building is creative in its approach to engage and protect its population. The strong visual connection throughout enables natural light to enter each space. Building interiors are playful, bright, colorful, tactile, and durable.
Some of the main drivers of the Eddy that were developed at the onset of the project include transparency. That's a big one, just related to the building site on which it was placed, the connection indoors and outdoors for the users, for the students, for the educators. Another big concept was a Whirlpool brand. This is distinctly a corporate child development center. So it was important to Whirlpool that their brand be communicated figuratively, not literally. And that was a challenge for us to make sure that that was done in a responsible way that was appropriate for kiddos. So the AIA framework for design excellence, it's really embodied just through the approach and the multifaceted nature of the client and the different influences. So the framework was made up of a series of idealistic and pragmatic objectives. So being responsible stewards of our environment through the siting of the building, through the honoring of the existing vegetation, through efficient stormwater control on the site, creating accessibility. That was a big one for both within the campus and within the center itself. So accessibility for children is viewed very differently as accessibility for educators and parents, and this solved both. And then just environmental control and comfort was a big one. So obviously between infants and toddlers, the environmental comfort and the needs are very different for these groups. So each classroom has their own controllability, controlled daylighting, LED lighting, efficient use of materials, high recycled content, yet durable materials. We focused on those. I'm most proud of the way that this solved for, again, the different challenges that the users brought. I think it's playful, it's fun, it's highly tactile. It's a place that as a parent, you would just want to explore and be in, but it's also distinctly corporate. It's respectful of its environment. It tends toward some of the architecture that you'll find around the Whirlpool campus. So I think the blending and the solving for the different user groups and client groups was the thing that was the most rewarding to me.
Congratulations once again to Integrated Architecture. I would now like to introduce Megan Feenstra-Wall, AIA Grand Rapids Vice President, who will conclude our ceremony with the presentation of our 2020 People's Choice Award.
Thank you, John. Hi, I'm Megan Feenstra-Wall with Matheson Architects. As John shared, I'm Chapter Vice President, and I look forward to serving as President next term. Today, I have the honor of presenting the 2020 People's Choice Award, the reason you're all still around. AIA Grand Rapids members and the public were able to review all the projects submitted for this year's honor awards with a chance to vote on their favorite. We had a great response, so thank you for your participation. And the winner of the 2020 People's Choice Award is the ADAC Automotive Headquarters. The project is owned by ADAC Automotive. The architect is Integrated Architecture, and the construction firm is Rockford Construction. Congratulations, Integrated Architecture. This year, in lieu of ticket sales, we asked you to consider donating to the ACE Mentor Program of West Michigan. Founded in 1994, the ACE Mentor Program of America is a free, award-winning after-school program designed to attract high school students into pursuing careers in the architecture, construction, and engineering industries. The program allows students to work directly with professionals from area firms who volunteer their time to mentor the teams as they design hypothetical projects, tour local construction sites, and visit local AEC firms. For students, it's a unique chance to discover and develop new skills, solidify future goals, and get on track to exciting, rewarding careers. AIA Grand Rapids is proud to partner with the ACE Mentor Program of West Michigan, and I know we have some of our mentors here listening today. Take a look.
It's one of those, rich American stories about how you can take a dream and really make something happen. So for us, even though we're giving to the community, we're getting a whole lot back.
Not only is it a good idea to mentor young people because it feels good, but we also need to recruit at a very young age. The real efforts and the real results are in the teaching itself, in the mentoring itself.
We picked ACE, I think, because it helps people in our trade. It helps our customers. And I think our folks get a sense if they see one or two kids in their own local market do better because of what they did, then they get excited about it.
Relationship with their community, engagement with their peers, and the personal connection that they made with the students has generated a lot of great personal and professional satisfaction for the Clark employees that have been part of ACE.
Our children are our future, and the opportunity to enlighten them, to give them a broader worldview, and to show them that there are many, many programs out there, occupations and professions. This is a wonderful program. It mentors them, and all of us need a mentor, and let's help our future.
We ask all of our business units to be involved in ACE. It's the best way to expose people to our industry. And our industry is not building buildings, it's changing people's lives.
For those of you who donated, thank you for your generosity. You are making a difference right here in Grand Rapids. And if you have not yet donated and are inspired to give, please consider donating to our local ACE program. The ACE donation link will remain live on our website until November 5th. And with that, we thank you. Again, thanks to our sponsors, the AIA Grand Rapids Board of Directors and the AIA Grand Rapids Honor Awards Committee. Thank you to our committee co-chair, Jenny Waugh, and to our fearless and flexible executive director, Pam Dankert, who willingly pivoted from the in-person event that we all know and love and know how to plan for to this digital format. Despite a few tech issues, we're just so happy that it worked out, and we're so glad that you could come. So well done. And thank you, Pam, for your extra time and leadership here. Please send a cheers, a hand wave, or a thumbs up Pam's way. And thank you, all of our chapter members and guests. We hope you enjoyed our broadcast and look forward to a time when we can gather in person together once again. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.